Today we're going to be making this quick and easy headband that matches our chevron brim crochet beanie. So don't forget to check the links in the description if you're interested in that beanie pattern. And for our headband, I am going to be working with the Buttercream Roving wool yarn, and this is a size 5 bulky yarn. We'll also be working with a size K or 10.5 or 6.5 millimeter crochet hook, just like we did with our beanie. And we're going to begin by attaching the yarn to our crochet hook using a slip knot, and then we're going to chain 7. Once you have your 7 chains, go ahead and turn them over so that you can access this back bump. What we're going to do is place 1 single crochet in each of our back bumps going down our row, and that does include that very first chain. So we should have a total of 7 single crochets when we get to the end of the row. And at the end of the row, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. From here, we're going to skip our turning chain, and we're going to place 1 single crochet in each of our previous row's single crochet stitches. So we should have 7 single crochets when we're done. And at the end of your row, you're going to chain 1 and turn your work again. And we're going to skip our turning chain and place 1 single crochet in our first stitch. Then working down here in this very first row, you can see that we have the traditional V portion of our stitch. So what we want to do is place 1 triple crochet in our 4th or middle stitch right here. And we're just going to work in this back loop. So to do that, you're going to yarn over twice and then find your 4th loop. And you're just going to insert your crochet hook in that back loop, yarn over and pull up through the loop, and then yarn over and drop 2 loops at a time until you complete the stitch. From here, working back up in the top portion of our row, we're going to skip 1 stitch, then we're going to place 1 single crochet in the following stitch. Then we're going to place 1 single crochet in the back loop only of our next stitch, and then 1 single crochet under the full stitch of our next stitch. So 3 total single crochets, with that center one being in the back loop only. From here, we're going to place 1 triple crochet back in that same loop where we placed our first triple crochet. And now we're going to place 1 single crochet in our very last stitch of this row. From here, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. And we're just going to place 1 single crochet in each of our 7 stitches going down our row. And at the end of the row, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. And the pattern for this row is going to be basically the same as this first row. We're going to begin by placing a single crochet in our first stitch. Then we're going to place a triple crochet in the front loop only from that stitch where we worked in the back loop. So right here. And we're going to place our triple crochet. Then making sure we're working in the top portion of our row, we're going to skip our next stitch and then place a single crochet under the full stitch, 1 in the back loop only, and then 1 in the full stitch. Then we're going to place a triple crochet back in that same front loop where we placed our first triple crochet of this row. And to finish this row, we're just going to place a single crochet in that last stitch. From here, we're just going to repeat those last 2 rows over and over to build the body of our brim. And we're going to crochet our chevron stitch until we have a total of 27 of our V's like this. And make sure that you've crocheted your row of single crochets after your last V. And so from here, we are going to chain 2. And so looking at the top edge of your brim here, you see you have this knot and then 2 loops, this knot and then 2 loops. So we're going to work in these 2 loop sort of stitches here. So we're going to skip our first set of 2 loops right there, and we're going to dive right into our next set of 2 loops and place a double crochet. Then working backwards in our skipped set of loops, we're going to place a double crochet there. And you're working around your first double crochet to create this sort of crisscrossing pattern. From here, we're going to dive into our next set of loops and place a double crochet there. Then we're going to work backwards in this set where we've already worked, and we're going to place a double crochet there. And we're going to repeat this until we get to the end of our row. And at the end of your row, your headband should look something like this. So from here, I want you to fold your headband in half so that the pretty sides are facing in. And so now we're going to join these 2 edges together. So the first thing that we want to do is place a slip stitch in the top of our first double crochet. So make sure you skip your chain 2, and we're just going to slide our crochet hook in that first double crochet, and we're going to place our slip stitch. And so from here, I want you to slide your crochet hook right here in this gap between your last crisscross stitch, so right there. And then in the gap right here between your double crochets and your chain 2. We're going to yarn over and pull through that for a slip stitch. So now we're going to join our first and our last row of our chevron stitches using slip stitches. So to do that, we're just going to insert our crochet hook in these corresponding stitches on both sides. And then we're going to yarn over and drop all the loops on our crochet hook for a slip stitch. And we're just going to repeat this process until we get to the end of our row. And we're going to begin with a chain 2. And just like before, we're going to be working in these sets of 2 loops. So we're going to skip our first set of 2 loops and place a double crochet in our next set. And then of course we're going to go back to our skipped loops and place our double crochet there. And we're just going to continue following our crisscrossing pattern like normal from here. So we're going to place our double crochet in our next set of loops and then place our next double crochet back in that same set of loops where we already worked. And when you get to the end of your row, you're going to place 1 slip stitch in your first double crochet. And from here, we're going to cut and tie off our yarn. And I'm going to tie my starting and ending tails together a few times, but not too tightly because I don't want to create a cinch. And then I'm going to hide my tails down this ugly side of my headband. And after hiding your tails and turning your headband right side out, it should look something like this. Thank you so much for working with me, and I hope you have a wonderful, awesome day.